The A-List Podcast is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Welcome into another episode of the A-List Podcast. Sherrod Blakely, Gary Washburn joining me, Kwani Lunis. We're the A-List Podcast. Week 1 of Summer League is in the books. And if you're watching online, you can tell that's, I think, where Gary is right now. I see the lanyard. Let's just quickly react to what your real expectations. Let's start with Jordan Walsh. What do you think the realistic expectations for him as a rookie are right now? And from your conversations with him so far, what have you gathered now that you've been able to be around him a little bit more?
Yeah, Jordan's a really bright kid. Okay, so he reminds me a lot of Grant. Okay.
Now, is that a good or bad thing?
No, very good thing. He's a real bright kid, a good talker, creative guy, storyteller. He's 19, but he's got just a really great spirit and disposition about himself. I think the media will love him when he gets to Boston because he's just he is not your typical, what? No. Like he enjoys talking to us. He enjoys the experience. So as a personality, I think he's a wonderful young man. And as I said, he reminds me a lot of a young Grant. Okay. Wow. As a player, impressed. First of all, he's skinnier than I thought he would be. Okay. He's a frail kid. He's got to build up some weight, some mass, get those Sherrod shakes going, those smoothies.
Not the Sherrod shakes.
The Sherrod shakes. The smoothies, the cheeseburgers. He's got the steaks, the mashed potatoes.
I will help him with that, Gary.
Yeah.
Take him to all the fast food restaurants.
Yeah, he needs some conditioning in terms of just his strength because he is 6'7" and probably 185 or something like that. Like he is not. He needs to fill out. That's the first thing. Second, he's comfortable shooting a 3-point shot. He makes plays. He runs all over the floor. He hustles. He's a pretty good passer. So the skill set is there. Now, whether he's going to contribute next year, I think more than often than not, he'll be in the G League. He'll be in Portland. But I was impressed so far. It was sort of like he was a first-round pick. Like he played like it. He didn't play like a guy who was way over his head and just wasn't sure of himself. I mean, he had 4 3-pointers in the opener. He struggled from the field, but still made some good passes, made some plays in the second game against Washington. So overall, I was completely impressed with Jordan Walsh. I think he's going to help this team eventually, but it's going to be time. I think the period between now, when the Summer League ends this weekend, and the beginning of training camp, that 2, maybe and a half months is going to be critical for him to just hit the weight room, get into the Celtics program, and just prepare himself for his rookie season. I think it's going to be a key time, but I see the potential.
Well, the thing that, I think we sometimes lose sight of is that he came into the college game as one of the best players in the nation. I mean, he was a top-tier recruit. And so there's a certain confidence and swagger that I think those guys have when they come into the NBA and they realize that they're competing against a lot of the kids in Summer League that they were busting back in the day. So for him, I think that there's a undeniable level of confidence and comfort that he has in Summer League. But to me, and Gary, you kind of alluded to it, at some point he's going to have that welcome to the NBA moment. Just like the number 1 pick got jammed on, that was his welcome to the NBA moment. Jordan Walsh is going to have that moment where he's just going to be bully balled by someone who might be 6'2", or he might get dunked on and matched up with like somebody who's 6'9", 6'10", and they just shoot right over top of him. He's going to have those moments, and to me, it's not whether they happen; it's how does he respond to them. Is he going to learn from those moments? Is he going to do like a guy like Jaylen Brown did? Remember when Jaylen was a skinny dude when he came into the NBA too, and guys like LeBron, they tried to bully ball him early on. And they had mixed success with that. But Jaylen got stronger. He got more confidence. And he figured out how to evolve his game in order to get on the floor. Remember, Jaylen was like Mr. Defense when he first got in the league. That was the way that he was able to get on the floor because they had so many guys all around him who could score. as he got more comfortable with his game, with his body, with his potential to make an impact, he figured out what he needed to do. He figured out how to get in where he fit in. And I think Jordan Walsh, I think he's going to surprise some people this year. I think he's going to be able to contribute sooner rather than later. I'm watching him play, and he got some dog in him. He definitely has some dog in him, and he's just not a big dog yet, physically. But the
got
fact
some
that
puppy, he got some puppy in him.
yeah, he I'll let him out the kennel. He can come out the kennel and run around a little bit,
Okay.
bite at some ankles. He could do that. He could be that guy. I think he understands that he just has a role to play. He's not going to be the star of the team. He's not going. I mean, I was listening to an interview where someone asked him about did he see Jason Tatum, and basically said, "I saw him, but he didn't really look at me." And it's just like, yeah. So Brooke, know your role. Know your role. That's the man. And if he doesn't acknowledge me, that's okay. I'm literally nobody right now. But that's not about what I'm. That's not going to define me. It's not where I'm at. It's where I'm going. That's what's going to determine who I am. And I think he's got the right mindset for that. I like him as a second round pick because as a second round pick, he's going to play with a little more edge, a little more chip on his shoulder. And again, he was one of the top players coming out of high school, and I think he's going to bring that same confidence to the game as a Celtic.
That being said, another rookie, well, still not rookie, I guess sophomore, we are keeping our eyes on is JD Davison. He just signed a 2-year deal with the Celtics. What are your impressions from him, this being his second summer league now?
I'm a big JD fan. And the reason I'm a big JD fan is because JD is physically big. I mean, when you stand next to this dude, he does not look like a 6'2", 6'3" guard. He's got a very, I think, lean, muscular frame that you can see him putting on another 10, 15 pounds and be even more physically imposing. I just think he just needs to play. I think he needs to get out there. I think he needs to be comfortable playing. He needs to play free and not think about rotations or starting or any of that nonsense. Just play his game. Because I do think that JD is someone that he is going to win the Celtics some games this year. Not a lot of games, but he's going to get on the floor and make enough of an impact where he's going to be the difference maker on a couple of nights this year, which for a second-round pick that you took as low in the draft as he was taken, and you're getting that, I think, in the second year, it's a win-win. I like what JD – I like his upside more than anything else. It's just a matter of how soon will it take for him to reach that potential that he's already shown he has.
Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets, up to $200. That's right, just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting everything from the money line to the over-under to who you think is going to hit the first home run. All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you can get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/Boston to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I think it's been tough for JD. Like, I see some potential, but he had 10 turnovers in the win over loss to Washington. There's just some reckless kind of play, not bad, but just trying to make the perfect pass. Some of the decision making he definitely needs to improve on. And this is his second summer league, right? This is not his first rodeo. So I'm hoping, if you're a Celtic fan, I think you should hope that he gets better in the last 3 games, because I think he is not. You want him to have that command on the floor. You want him to be able to run the offense, get his team and get his teammates prepared, the ball in places that they like, and then take care of the ball. And I think the take care of the ball thing has been a real concern. I mean, 10 turnovers, 9 assists the other night. And I mean, I see it, but I thought maybe he would have a chance to compete for a roster spot on this year's team. And in the first 2 games, I just don't see that. I see more time in the G League. Now, who knows? He might do a 180. Obviously, they got 3 more games left. He's got a chance, but I thought I would see a more mature, kind of orchestrator, ball handler, as opposed to some of the passes I've seen him make. Is like that's not a good pass, or the entry pass, or the pocket passes that he's trying to make. He's got to think first about, okay, do I want to do this pass? Is this going to make it to its target, or is this going to be, knocked away, intercepted? And I just think that there tends to be a little bit of a kind of a not out of control, but just not in total command of being out there. And I want to see more of that from J.D. Davison, because remember, this is a second summer league now. And you can start telling the difference between guys like, I've looked at, we looked at Keegan Murray, like he didn't need to be in summer league. I've looked at Shaedon Sharpe from Portland Trailblazers second year. He doesn't need to be in summer league anymore. Like you can tell, like he's better than all these guys out here. And for JD, I don't know if I wanted to see him where he was just like the best player on the floor at all times, but I wanted to see him be like, okay, this is my second go around. I'm not a rookie anymore. I'm under control. This is what I'm going to do. And I didn't see that, especially against Washington. Now, he hung in there. He made some plays, had that dunk. You could see the athleticism, but it's sort of like here's the thing, that this is what happens is that, to me, JD's a kid who was obviously a superstar in high school, all state, all that at Alabama in high school, goes to the University of Alabama, shows flashes, but at being a point guard, but he only played one college year, right? And then now he's in the NBA, and this is the whole thing, like, and the same thing with Jordan Walsh. These dudes don't even know who they are yet. They don't even know what kind of player they're going to be yet. Where you looked at, Tatum, LeBron, like you look at the big guys, you already know who they're going to be. Then there are these guys that are second-round picks that really didn't establish themselves in college. And so now they're trying to establish their identity in the NBA. That's hard. If you're not a pure point guard, if you're not a pure center, if you're not a pure three. And JD was probably a dude in high school who was a big scorer and did everything, played 1 year college ball. Then now the NBA, they said, okay, JD, you're a point guard, so you need to be a point guard. And he's still trying to figure that out. So I think, him signing that two-way, I think was good as a sign that they still see the potential in him. But it's hard to adjust just to being an NBA point guard when you don't have enough reps in college ball. And, you look at some of these guys, I mean, they played 2-3 years in college. That's how you become great point guards. Ja Morant played 2 years at Murray State. Sometimes that college experience gives you a chance. So I think with JD, you hope that he can establish that identity and find out who he is and be good at his role, as opposed to being kind of just trying to do it because that's what everybody pushes him to be, a point guard, because at this point, that's his role.
No, that makes a ton of sense. I think being on that two-way definitely will help develop and help him, like you said, find his identity. But Summer League overall right now, the Celtics are 0-2. It's just Summer League. We say that every year, whether they're winning or not. But what do you make of the 2 losses? And I mean, again, get grain of salt, because most of this roster we'll probably won't see in a regular season game. But what's your assessment?
I don't put much stock into wins or losses. So I'm looking more at some of the things that Gary touched on JD. I'm just looking at how they're playing, how they've grown. Do they show the ability to impact the game? What's his name? What's his name? Scrub? The Scrub kid?
Jay Scrub,
yeah, which is a horrible name for a basketball player. Just saying.
Yeah,
Always
I would change my last name.
But I mean, he's shown flashes of being someone that, again, consistency is his biggest problem. He can score. He just doesn't score consistently enough and doesn't do enough of those other things to really kind of cement himself, not just with the Celtics, but just in a more broader sense in the NBA. But this is an opportunity for guys to showcase what they can do beyond what we already know. There's not a single player on the Celtics roster or on any other roster, for that matter, that people are like, man, I wonder what that kid can do. It's more of like, can he do this better than he's done in the past? Is he excelled or improved in that area? And that's really what this is about. And so, I don't get caught up in the wins and losses. I'm looking more for what are they doing. And, they've been okay, but no one has really, to me, elevated their play for the Celtics Summer League team to the point where you think, like, man, he could be like that dude that could play his way into the rotation. And no one has played so horrible that you're just like, my goodness, should he even be in the zip code? Forget about on the court. Should he even be in the damn zip code of a basketball court? So again, it's kind of meh. That's kind of how I look at this team, how I look at Summer League in the broad sense.
It's always weird talking about Summer League because it doesn't bear any weight, but you can see, like you said, the talent is what you're really looking at and how they can potentially develop.
Yeah. Although I do look at certain matchups and I think about how, like, for example, when you look at Houston and young fella Jabari Smith, and how he looks at James Wiseman, it's just like, that dude can't guard me.
Mm-hmm.
I like that kind of stuff because this is a high draft pick who is playing with a certain swagger against another high draft pick, and he's basically giving him the business. Mm-hmm. And that confidence I like to see from young players. But again, in the grand scheme of things, that ain't gonna win Houston no damn games.
For sure.
But it makes Summer League mildly entertaining for us.
These are your hiring goals, they say. They're very aggressive, but when everyone looks to you, you're calm. Why? Because you know you don't need a miracle, you need Indeed. Indeed is a hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. They streamline hiring with powerful tools that can help you find your matched candidates. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed match their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Candidates you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in the search. Indeed does the hard work for you, and they show you candidates whose resume, once again, on Indeed, fit the job description immediately after you post so that you can hire faster. Even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements. Indeed is an unbelievably powerful hiring platform, delivering 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to CLNS in 2019. You can start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/A-list. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit right now at Indeed.com/A-list. Once again, Indeed.com/A-list, and show that support by saying you heard this on the podcast. Indeed.com/A-list. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
And you get a chance to see Deuce. You get a Celtics fans. You get to see Deuce and Deuce Daddy.
The kid does not sleep.
He's everywhere.
He's more booked and busy than I am. That kid is everywhere.
I don't make this team just doesn't have enough dudes who can really put the ball in the basket. You have
Champagne.
Walsh, who's just trying to get his feet wet. Davison, who's not really a scorer yet. Champagne, who had a really good second game, struggled in the first game. And then Jay Scrubb, who's a guy who I think they're thinking about maybe a 2-way contract. He's only 22. He came out of junior college, so he's trying to make an improbable jump from JC ball. And he's had a couple 2-ways with Orlando, I know, and the Clippers. And he's trying to, and I think he definitely has some potential. Like they see something in him. Remember, he's only 22, so he might be up for one of those 2-way contracts. But yeah, they just don't have enough guys. Like they don't have the old kid, the former, NBA veteran trying to, make it. They don't have guys who are really savvy. They have a bunch of young Justin Bean. They have a bunch of young kids that are just trying to figure things out. And in the fourth quarter of both games, they slipped, right, when it's winning time. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. But I think we all went in knowing this wasn't going to be a very good Summer League team, and they're probably going to struggle.
Okay, final Summer League note. Isaiah Thomas reportedly hosted a workout. Have you heard anything as you're on the ground, or is there anything we can?
Have not heard like how it went.
Okay.
Been reaching out to folks. Have not heard anything yet about whether it was successful or unsuccessful. I know the John Wall one. Apparently, he wasn't in very good shape. I was told, and so I think I don't know if that will hurt him or not. And there's Jason's buddy Harry Giles. Could also conducted a workout for scouts out here. So, if I get information about how Isaiah did or whether he wowed him or didn't, I'll let you know. But yeah, I mean, this is the time where guys have figured out that with all these scouts here, coaches, GMs, that they can showcase their skills in one of these, kind of workout centers or workout areas in Las Vegas, and have some of the teams that are interested in go check them out. So I will let you know. But yes, 3 guys of interest for the Celtics: Harry Giles, John Wall, and Isaiah Thomas. I think the door is closed with Isaiah and the Celtics, but I think we're all rooting for Isaiah to get back into the league for one last shot.
Right. We'll always root for him, no matter what.
I'm always pulling for little fella. I just, again, his story, even if he doesn't ever play again, should be a damn movie. When you think about just all the things that he literally had to overcome. I mean, the last pick of the damn draft.
He needs a 30 for 30. I'd give him a 30 for 30.
He absolutely does. I mean, the things that he has had to overcome, and the fact that, and people forget that he had a great run with the Celtics, and people sometimes forget that the only reason he got serious burn was because Marcus Smart got hurt. And he stepped in because when Danny signed him, Danny Ainge, he was supposed to be an instant offense guy off the bench, give you a nice little spark, and they had no choice but to start him when Marcus went down. And next thing you know, he giving you 25 a game, and y'all winning. And it's like, so he can score and we can win?
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, let's talk about your role being a little bit different when you get back. And he just went from there, 2-time All-Star. And, you do
time, fourth quarter, like.
Yeah, you do wonder, and I know he's played the what-if game 1,000,001 times. What if he never got hurt?
That's the 30 for 30 question. You know how they ask the question? That's the question. See, we're giving them too many ideas. We need to make our own.
We need to do it ourselves.
We were all there. We witnessed it.
Tell your boy to holler at your boy. Let's see if we can get this 30 for 30.
Look.
I'll reach out to him for sure.
Let's talk about CLNS Media Network.
I'll get on that.
Something.
No, I'm very interested. I feel as though there has to be some kind of story told in the future. I just saw a clip of him on Instagram, and I didn't look at the context of it, but he was talking about his time in Boston briefly, but he gets really emotional, and he basically says, like, they gave up on me, and it just cuts the scene. But in some ways they did. We talk about this every week. It's a business. We understand the way the league works, but you can't help but have the emotional attachment. I know fans, at least, when it comes to the way that they watch these players and the way these players pour their hearts and souls out for the game that they love, but also for the people that watch them play. So I'm going to be very interested to see and watch, how this goes out, this plays out, but just overall how his career.
I'm hoping he gets another shot. I wouldn't be shocked to see him on an NBA roster. I wouldn't be shocked to see him on someone like the Lakers, for example. And they've loaded up this year. They've got some decent players, but wouldn't be surprised to see him somewhere like that.
Okay, as we final former Celtic we're going to talk about on this episode, unless we get into more wormholes. Marcus Smart, his introductory press conference in Memphis, his hair was still green. That was actually the first thing that was asked before the press conference even asked, because in the video it kind of looks a little bluish, but it was definitely still green. But it was weird watching that press conference, the way that he talked about Boston already in the past tense. And I think it was weird for him too, because you could tell he was kind of like thinking as he spoke. But also the saying of we now that he's in Memphis and acknowledging he is part of the organization, accepting that he is going to be a role model for Ja Morant. I'm assuming you both saw the press conference. And if so, what did you think?
I'm sad still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to take me a minute to just kind of.
Weird.
I've accepted the fact that he's gone. I get that. But having known him from the day he got here, from like trips up to Maine where he's doing camps and all the stuff that he did for the community in Boston, and it's a lot to process and digest. And I know that Marcus, I know this without question, this has been a difficult transition for him, because Marcus is one of those players that at the end of the night, there have been very few nights where you didn't feel that everything he had was left out on that floor. And I don't know that sentiment is one that you will consistently say about anyone else on this team. That doesn't say that they don't do it, but Marcus, you felt it. You felt it consistently. And Memphis is getting that player. You better believe Marcus is going to come in with an edge. And don't be surprised if Marcus does what most former Celtics do when they play Boston and have one of the best games of his life.
Of their lives, yeah.
Would anyone be shocked if Marcus had like a 28, 12, and 10 game against the Celtics and they win by 3?
Now that it's summer, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for sunny, active days. Factor Meals, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track in reaching all your summertime goals. They offer delicious, flavor-packed options on the menu each week to fit a variety of lifestyles, from keto to calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and protein plus. Prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, each meal has all of the ingredients you'll need to feel satisfied all day long while meeting your goals. And if you're looking to mix it up, you can add a protein to select vegan plus veggie meals each week. Choose from 34 plus chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options featuring premium ingredients such as broccolini, leeks, truffle butter, and asparagus. Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons, including breakfast items like our delicious apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites, and potato, bacon, and egg breakfast skillet. Or for an easy wellness boost, try refreshing beverage options like cold pressed juices, shakes, and smoothies. If you're going to go the smoothie route, I strongly recommend you go with the tropical fruit or the mango. Want to budget this month by cutting back on takeout? Get Factor Meals instead. Not only is Factor Meals cheaper than takeout, but meals are ready faster than restaurant delivery in just 2 minutes. Head to factormeals.com/A-list50 and use code A-list50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code A-list50 at factormeals.com/A-list50 to get 50% off your first box.
Shoot, and only take like 6 shots to do it? Shoot the rest of the time on the free throw line? Come on.
It's gonna happen. Another point from that press conference, though, that stood out: him and Jaren Jackson Jr., the last 2 defensive players of the year, now being on the same team. It never happened in the history of the game. That's a little scary, especially when they were talking about the fact that Memphis didn't really take that many charges over the last few seasons. And Coach basically said, like, if Marcus has a drill and he's willing to lead by example, then we'll throw him in to lead it. And I'm like, we're going to have a bunch of defensive players.
I'm telling you.
And I'm kind of scared for the West.
It's going to be Tony Allen's team 2.0.
Fact.
That's how they and the fact that Ja is out, they're going to lean even more so on what they do defensively because of that. And Memphis, I'm telling people, listen, I've said this and I'm going to keep saying it. Memphis is a team that I would be worried about if I were in the Western Conference because they are going to get one of the most dynamic players back in Ja Morant, about a quarter of the way through the season. But leading up to that, they're going to try to beat the snot out of you because they know that's the best pathway for them to be successful. They're going to be physical. They're going to grab. They're going to pull. They're going to poke. They're going to punch. They're going to do all that stuff. And Marcus Smart, he's finally in his element. I mean, the way they're going to play and follow his lead, for heaven, for young fella, young game changer. He has found his nirvana. I can't be mad for him. And that for me, of all the teams he could have played for, he's in the absolute best situation for what he needs right now to just get that rejuvenation that I think he was lacking in Boston.
Yeah, I think he's getting more into being with the Memphis Grizzlies. And I think he's still saddened by the trade. I think a lot of us are in terms of just his attachment, his emotional attachment to Boston, and the fact that he spent 9 years here and did so much in the community and became such a fan favorite for many of us. I know some people are glad that he's gone, but I think for most of us, we're all going to miss him just like we're going to miss Grant Williams. I just think Marcus is getting more into being – because it was pretty obvious how much Memphis wanted him. I think that's what I got out of the press conference. Like, they were ecstatic that he's there. Like, they are giddy, happy. They got a grinder. They got a grinder for the grindhouse. They got a guy who's a dog. And they got a guy who had his bouts with some things in terms of his emotions, but is always going to play hard. And he ain't going to do no stupid stuff on the floor. And I think they kind of put that role on of being kind of like one of their emotional leaders on Dylan Brooks, and that ended up not working out, and they kind of pushed him out and didn't want any part of him anymore because of poking the bear with LeBron and just some of the things. And offensively, he just wasn't very good, right? He just was a bad player offensively. So I think you replace them with Smart with Brooks, a better, not a great offensive player, but a better, adequate, sometimes good offensive player, and a very good, even better defender. And I think they're really excited. So that's what I took from the press conference. That Marcus is still trying to figure some things out, like what happened, where do I live, do I bring my foundation down there? What are my teammates going to be like? All the above, which is understandable when you get traded for the first time. But I think he'll eventually grow to liking Memphis, and they'll grow to love him if they don't already. So I think it's going to be a good move for both sides. But you can kind of see the transition slowly going with Marcus, kind of understanding it's over in Boston and understanding it's a new team, a new opportunity, a new conference for him to flourish with this chance now. And, I think he's looking forward to it.
Yeah, Taylor Jenkins was like cheesing from ear to ear that entire presser, and you could tell he was really excited to coach him. So hopefully it works out, and it is a good relationship for him and a good next step. Anything else you two want to talk about? We've talked about everything related to the Celtics. It is summer, so that's a little slow, relatively.
No, we could talk about Kwani's summertime attire here.
You
Looks like
just
she's
wanted
ready to enter the Olympics.
What are the Olympics? I can't.
That's a certain country. I ain't gonna say which country, but that's a certain country that looks like Kwani represents. And I know it ain't.
Look like you running for Jamaica.
Nigeria or
I was gonna say, Gary.
It was either it was either that or Nigeria. I was like
in lane 3.
Oh man,
Kwani.
I love my Jamaicans. I don't think I'll ever run that fast, but shout out to all my favorites.
Right, Kwani, like she's ready to do 400 right now.
No, you do look like you're ready.
Got the nails, Gary. You see the nails? You see that?
No.
Like mini FloJo.
Yeah. I'll work on it. Well, since you're done roasting me, that's a wrap on this week's episode of the A-List podcast. For Sherrod Blakely and Gary Washburn, I'm Kwani Lunis. Tune in next week. See what we talk about.
The network is powered by FanDuel. Sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston and get in on the action with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed.